feature.
Because Elon Musk, isn't
Mother
somebody
Earth.
talking about like taking trash to the moon? And then, well, the question is,
I hope I get that contract.
That's what I mean, like
Shoot Fire. This is episode 9. We're almost to double digits. So, Aaron
Big
Clayborn of Roll With It Rentals, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Yes, sir.
You guys, if you can't tell on YouTube land, Aaron is nervous.
Nah, yeah. A little nervous.
Yeah. So, Aaron, as like this podcast is just getting started, and our idea is to give our customers and then your customers kind of a peek behind the veil, like what's going on with your business. You know, how do you do business? Hopefully you can use this material and you can put it on. You know, we'll give you a bunch of different cuts, use it on social media, and the masses will start calling, asking for your roll-off services.
Perfect.
That'd
Yeah.
be good. But man, tell us what's your story? Tell us who you are and kind of, are you from this area?
I'm from Perrin. I don't know if you know where that is. It's a little blinking light town.
Yeah, is that just north on like 287?
Yeah, go straight 281. I mean, get here was a straight shot,
Okay.
but it's about 15 minutes north of Mineral Wells.
okay.
That's like what, population 300 legitimately?
I think so, if that. My graduating class was 32.
Oh man. Dang. How many of those people traveled in 20 miles to get to there?
Quite a bit.
Probably,
quite a bit,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you grow up like just ranching, or what did your parents do?
My dad had a lifelong career at American Airlines, and then they bought a convenience store in between Mineral Wells and Perrin, G's Gas and Grocery.
Okay.
And they've had that since I was, I think, in 8th or 9th grade or something like that. So they started with one, bought another one in Perrin, and went from there. He ended up quitting American once it got big enough.
That's
So
crazy.
They just sold last year and been on a cruise ship ever since. So,
They've been enjoying the fruits of their labor.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. What is it hard to get into convenience store business?
I don't know. For them, it was just a perfect ordeal. I think back in the day, that store was run very poorly, and I think they picked it up for pennies on the dollar and just worked it for 15, 16 years to turn it in what it is now, and sold for a good amount. And
That's awesome. So one of our favorite shops is the Lingleville Country Store.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Lance. But same kind of thing like that.
they
store.
have nothing on G's Gas and Grocery.
Oh, G's Gas and Grocery out in Perrin. That's where you.
I don't know Lingleville.
No, same thing. Like it was kind of running down. It was maybe thinking about to close. And from what I understand, Lance married into the family.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, let me give me a shot and see if I can run this thing or turn it in. And he turned it into like a boutique coffee shop. It's kind of crazy.
No,
And,
nice.
Brisket tacos.
Brisket tacos, cigars, coffee, tea.
They have like these. I can only find these orange sickle beverages
Mm-hmm.
at was it Central Market, but he's got them there. So I'm like, I have to make sure not stopping there too often, but because I like clean him out. But
Sounds like a very millennial thing to do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
I love it. I have to be literally. I have to be careful not to go in there too often because not that it's bad. It's just
yeah.
man. It's like because it's got good. I mean, it's just anyway. We're gonna go all down the store, but I mean, good
The Texican tacos.
tacos. He's got these weird chocolates from Heiko that,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's got the muffins. The
Homemade
muffins
muffins.
are just blow like.
So
blow
where's
your
this
mind.
place at when I leave?
It's in Lingleville. Yeah.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
I mean,
go out Highway 8.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
opposite direction of where you're headed.
there's like 3 buildings in Lingleville, and that's one of them.
I was thinking you were out of Fort Worth. I don't know why.
Well, our shop's out of Weatherford, so we're trying to base our
okay.
business out of the Weatherford area because
okay, that's why. I thought that.
kind of the dumpster business is going to be hard to make any money out.
Sure.
middle of nowhere, especially being so far away from a dump. We had to take all that into consideration. So
Where do you dump at?
mostly I dump in Kennedale,
Okay.
but that's kind of like the learning process I've went through and talking to other dumpster companies, finding all these different places to dump. And I mean, even Granbury, I was dumping in Cleburne for the longest time because I didn't know as a company I could go to Glenrose. So I was bypassing that every time I dumped y'all, except for the last one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man. And so I guess are some landfills open only to like professionals and some are open to retail?
Like Decatur is you have to live there. A lot of places you can dump there, but they're going to charge you like crazy unless you have like a water bill or something like that. So
is that what Stephenville does?
Stephenville, no, you can dump there. You
Dump?
just can't dump anything that would produce a house fly. So
Okay.
a lot of construction stuff I could dump there, stuff like that. But if it was like somebody cleaning out their garage and there's trash and stuff in there, I wouldn't be able to dump there.
No kitchen waste and stuff.
Right.
No food. Okay. So you are like one of the themes for today's episode is we're thinking like entrepreneurship and, small business and just business ownership. You just got into the dumpster business, correct?
Yes. Started in May.
Yeah. What did you do? What's your story before May? You were in oil and gas, is that correct?
Yeah, I've surveyed pipelines since I was 18 pretty much. So I've done that forever. And we just got done with a huge seismic survey on the Pitchfork Ranch. And I thought I was going to go that route of, starting a business and survey, but it's like one of those things I got into because somebody knew, I knew somebody, and it's just not something I want to do anymore.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to survey pipeline? Like, what does that look like?
I mean, you're going through your survey and we'll start to finish. You'll survey every road, every property corner, so property owners know how much footage is on their land, and then you'll come in, you'll stake the line for the contractors. After that, you'll as-built it. While they're building it, you'll shoot it in, so the company knows exactly where everything is, every weld, every turn, all that stuff.
So they know where every joint is too?
Every joint, yes, sir.
So that's pretty.
For the most part, I mean, there's some things like I don't know if it's like it anymore, but sometimes we go in and shoot corners, and there's software these days that's getting so crazy where you can shoot a corner and then go shoot another corner of the pipe in 1,000 feet, just calculate everything.
Yeah, because it knows there's going to be a joint every.
Yeah, we know exactly. Because you're going through, and when the pipe's laid down, you're writing out exactly how long that is.
Okay.
And when they come in and welders cut it and tie it, you're measuring that pup exactly how long it is. So you have all that in your book.
So you're on site the whole time, or like if you're doing so it's not like you're going out and just prepping sites. You're prepping it, and you're there the whole time until it gets.
Well, it depends. I mean, it's one of those kind of industries where you're jumping around where the work is. It's like,
did you have to travel away from home a bunch?
Oh yeah,
just keeps you in hotels.
So that's kind of the route why I'm taking this route is me and my wife. I've had her on my crew a couple times trying to double dip, but we went to Pennsylvania twice, went to Colorado for a second, but mostly Pennsylvania, and then West Texas a lot. So.
That's crazy. Yeah. You can't do that with kids.
That's what we have, a 2-year-old. So it's like now I could either go out to West Texas and work 6-7 days a week and make great money, or come back, build something for ourselves. By the time she's in school, I can go to every school event, game, whatever it might be. So we're kind of just prepping for that.
That's awesome. You got a 2-year-old? You got any more on the way?
I'm trying to talk her into it, but my wife's redheaded, and I got a little bit of red in the beard. So we have a fiery redhead little girl, and she is full of let's say joy right now. So my wife's like, we're not doing it yet. I'm like, come on, I want a senior and a freshman at least. So I'm trying to talk her in, but she's not budging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin's raising a zoo over there.
Huh?
Kevin's got a whole zoo.
I got a 6-year-old, 4-year-old, 2-year-old, and one on the way.
Oh my gosh.
So, it's
So you went. I wanted them 2 years apart like
well,
that.
it wasn't necessarily. I mean, I guess really the two youngest ones are only 15 months apart. I think 16 months apart. So it's easier to say 6, 4, and 2, but it's like sometimes they're three. Sometimes they're only. They're like I guess in 30 days it'll be a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. But it's like certain different reports. But anyway, yeah, it's not.
It's a lot.
It's good.
It's a lot.
Are they boys or girls or
All boys.
all boys?
So I don't know what the next one is. So we're
Yeah.
about to find out, I guess. But no, it's fun. It's an absolute. Yeah, it's a zoo some days.
Well, that's what we wanted. We wanted house full of boys because we're both pretty athletic in school, so all we could picture is having a bunch of boys riding dirt bikes and playing basketball, baseball, football, everything. And then we had the girl, and luckily we didn't do a we call it gender reveal because we found it on the phone. We're like, oh, pathetically, at the time. And then now both of us, we couldn't imagine having a boy. Like the girl is such a daddy's girl. It's amazing. So
well, that's what everybody's like. Everybody tells me I need a girl, so we're about to find out. I don't know, but it'd be easier if it's all boys. Like because we're done after this one. It is like we're done.
Yeah.
There's multiple times I'm sitting here going like, what were we thinking? To go for 4, and it's like, so yeah. Either way.
No, I would say you'd be blessed with a girl for sure. It's just, I think it's easier with a girl until she's 7, 8, then the rest of the time you just gotta keep them locked in a closet. I think.
Hold on.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, but something like that.
Yes. Well, I'm doing my best to raise respectful boys.
Nice.
Which is impossible.
Well, it's like what was that movie, the Couples Retreat, where he's like, "Hey, in my house," he goes, "You got to go cover up." His daughter came out to go somewhere. He's like, "You need to put more on." And she's saying, "He goes, hey, in my house, we're the Taliban."
That's right. That's right.
So I was like, So I don't know.
That's awesome. Okay, so you had this career in oil and gas. You were traveling a bunch, and baby comes along. You're like, man, I want to be around. Which is like, what a wonderful reason to stay home. What made you choose the construction industry as your pivot? Like, why not, try to get an office job or do something else?
Oh, this will be a long-winded answer, but I actually had an office job.
Okay.
And I was so used to making pipeline money. You come home, you're not used to, hey,
smaller budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to make hamburger helper tonight, that type of stuff. And so my brother is super successful in the oil field. He's out west and everything, and he got me hooked up on the seismic job. So I was at engineering firm in Fort Worth for the past 4 years, and this came along, and it was money I couldn't pass up for, this month. This is going to be 6 months, and, make more in that 6 months than you would 2 years at the office job. So it's like,
that's awesome, man. That's so okay.
I'll go do this, and then whatever happens. Kind of compress that down. We thought about coming home, and we wanted to buy some laundry mats because we own a quadplex in Mineral Wells, and this is the only reason it got me into the dumpster business is because every time we did renovation, we'd call dumpster service. Every time you call them, it's some old boy that don't want to talk on the phone, or you're like, can I just get a dumpster? One day, something like that. And So we went through that 3 different rounds.
Aaron, you just were exactly what Kevin was this summer when we were working on another job. Yeah, before we found you, he's like, "Oh man, these dumpster guys, I just like, what are they doing?"
Yeah. It's like I don't want to be hateful, but it was.
You saw a need, and you saw
I saw a need, and both me and my wife are people. How you say that?
People persons. Yeah, people.
They say it plural though. People.
Mm-hmm.
We like people.
We like people.
Yeah, extroverts.
That's right. So we knew we could take care of like the customer service and all that. So, we couldn't really find any laundromats for sale, anything like that. And I said, man, let's get into this. And we've been blowing going ever since. And it blew up way faster than we thought it was going to. So,
was it a gamble for you? How much research did you do looking into the dumpster roll-off business? Like,
we did a lot of research. I mean, it was one of those things we paid cash for everything. So it's like, man, it's a lot of money just throw into something. So we researched. The biggest thing is actually getting into it and figuring out, where's your pain points and, stuff like that. I think even, we've been learning since we've been with y'all, and that's kind of why on that Gorman job I was like, hey man, we kind of have to change up what we talked about because we're losing money going that far out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And kind of learning, hey, we might charge this, but for the diesel and the tires we're going through, all that. I mean, I was going out, 40, 50 miles for jobs, and I think at first you kind of have to just to kind of get your name out there. Mm-hmm. But just having to refine, down where we, offer our services and kind of doing a mileage thing after that. I mean, just learning after that is kind of what we're going through right now.
So what are pain points? Now you're 6 months into this new business. What are obstacles that you didn't realize were obstacles before you started? So you said tires, distance,
tires, and maintenance. So, like a tire on the trailer. I mean, that's about $450 because they're all 16 plies, everything like that. And then,
how often is the dumps? Are they costing you tires? Like, I mean, is the dumps you're dumping in pretty safe? Like, for a sec, like, are you having to like constantly?
For the most part, they're all right. I mean, I sit here and complain about tires, but in 6 months, I've replaced all tires on the truck, but those ones on the trailer are holding up pretty good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
For the most part, the Kennedale one, it's good. I mean, it's surprisingly you're sitting there driving over trash. That's what those landfills are. Uh-huh. That was another thing when I got into the business was, whoa, we throw a lot of stuff away.
So much waste.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the Stephenville dump. I remember when they redid it, and it was you drove down. I mean, it felt like you're in this like comet or asteroid crater.
Yeah.
I mean, you just drove way down in there, and now, heck, you're like, in a matter of a few years, we're
They're going to be. When I got to Stephenville in 2005, it was, I don't know how deep it was before then, but it looks like it's gone up 40 feet.
Oh yeah,
really?
Like, I'm blown
15
away. Like
years,
they said, it is crazy how much we I'm just waiting for like 5,000 years from now, they're gonna be like, oh, there was a civilization here. And you're like, no, it was just our dump. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
They're like, what were they doing?
Yes, that's exactly. It's like surely they'll be smart out of it. These guys were just dumping here.
Yeah, I have a buddy that works at a local trash service in Mineral Wells in Perrin. That's super great to us. I'll shout them out. JR Disposal. Mm-hmm. I mean, they keep us busy just because they don't do roll-offs. So people call them, of course, all the time, and they'll just send us work. But he was talking to me, and I was talking about at Kennedale, they got a new pit, way down like you're talking about. He goes, those mountains you've been driving? He's like, when I first started, those were pits. And he said eventually those mountains will soak back down to ground level.
That'd be crazy.
I don't understand that, but
just the trash decomposes.
he said he's seen it go up and down multiple times.
That's crazy. And that, so do they just dig it back out?
No, I think it just
settles.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So
Okay, this is like way off topic, but I was presented with the thought like a few months ago. There is no new matter on this earth ever, right? So like we're throwing away all this stuff, but all this stuff was produced from the earth, like in atoms in the earth, and then reharnessed. But atoms never go away; they're just repurposed. And so we make all this stuff, and it's like, where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? Well, it came from the earth, and then now it's going back to the earth. And then if you think, okay, well, what if our babies, fresh atoms, like new atoms that are created? I don't know. Because, like, mom eats food from the earth or eats, whatever. Like, it's kind of wild. So,
well, think about
Mother Nature.
Because Elon Musk, isn't somebody
Earth.
talking about, like, taking trash to the moon? And then, well, the question is,
I hope I get that contract.
That's what I mean, like I wanted to do some nefarious things, like transport illegal substances, like grow it on the moon. That was my dream as a kid. I was like, what if you grew at the time, like some marijuana? This is when it was illegal. You grew it on the moon, put it on spaceships, and you flew it home. Well, because it's not illegal up there. So then I was dreaming of all these ways you could like fly it home. And then, like, how do you get? Because then you got to get it to market without getting caught and all this. I was like, I was brewing up all this stuff.
Nobody's going to suspect NASA.
Turn.
No, it's like this is when I was a kid. I never did it very well, but I was always like, man, there's a market. Like, I mean, and if you could figure out ways, I mean, the moon is it's right for the taking. You just got to figure out a way to create an atmosphere.
Just got to get there.
I would love to but taking the trash there, I'd love
back to the matter. Just think about houses in Detroit. You see pictures of those things. Those, I mean, what are those? 50 years old, and the earth is already consuming them. Like,
if they're not maintained, they're
bring up a picture. The trees are going through, and it's falling back down. I mean, it's going to end up being right back into the earth, like you're talking about.
Well, it's like, if you ever watched those ones on History Channel where it's like, was it like 5 days after or if humans are gone? If we all disappear today,
yeah,
it's like 100 years, and you go, but like my dad has an old highway that goes to his property, and that thing was abandoned, I think, in the 60s. I don't know. The timeline, I may be wrong, but it's gone. Like, I mean, I guess if you dug down with the soil. And it's up. It's not like it just flooded. It's just the grass and the soil and stuff, and it's underneath, and you don't see it no more. It's in a field. It's in a coastal field, and it's like the highway's gone. Like it's kind of
and that's what I bet you dig down right now and find pieces, but 1,000 years from now, it's
well,
gonna
they uncovered some of those Roman roads that were gone, but they're still there. Like you said, they're there, but they're but that's kind of fascinating.
So you mentioned just it's mind-blowing how much waste we produce as people. Have you been surprised by the efficiency of the construction industry? I mean, because you're going to landfills that are just everyday users, but how wasteful do you see most construction sites, or how efficient are most construction sites?
I can tell a difference on, and this is your industry, who's efficient at framing. Some houses I get to, and it's full of lumber. Other sites I get to, man, it's just knick-knack stuff because they've used as much as they could of the, 2x12 or whatever you're using. I kind of like looking at that and see, who's good at what.
Kevin, do you got any numbers on your efficiency over the years?
No, I mean, like I have several different framing crews, and every one of them's a little bit different. Like you have some that are super efficient, some that are not. No, I wouldn't say none of them are too wild, out of control. But you can have a house that's 2,000 square feet. Just say your rough number, 2,000 square foot house. It depends on the plan. It's weird what like a 2-story it's weird what a 2-story, how much trash it more produces than a single story. I don't know why. Or like how cut up the roof. If it's, if you'll pay attention.
Would it be because of the level, right at the level? The first to second level?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, I don't know, but you think in your mind it's the same square footage.
Right.
What's the difference? Why is there more trash? But it always seems like there's I've built certain floor plans over and over and over and over again, and for certain builders, and they'll have certain plans that just eat material and produce lots of trash, and certain plans that, man, it's efficient. Certain plans are.
That's
very
crazy. It comes from the actual plans too, like
It
just
is.
the work on
Now,
the ground.
I mean, workers, 100%. It people nailing the boards up play a factor, but I can tell you, like, it takes both. But you can have certain floor plans will determine that too as well. That's what I have seen.
Oh, that's cool.
So you've noticed the framers' discrepancies from job to job. Tile guys or sheetrock or any other oddities?
I hadn't really paid attention. One of my good friends is a framer, so of course I went into his job judging him. So, but no, I hadn't really even thought about the sheetrock and stuff, and I should, because that's the heavy stuff.
It's heavy, yeah.
Have you got there and you're like, what did y'all load in here?
I knew it was a mistake when I dropped the dumpster off. It was in Weatherford, luckily, and I dump in Weatherford also. And it was right off of Rick Williamson, and I pulled up, and it was a roof tear off. And I called the guy. I said, "Hey, what's going in this dumpster?" He said, "No, just stuff from the inside. We're doing construction on the inside, so." All that, I'm like, okay. And, of course, I get back, that 20-yarder's filled almost to the top.
With shingles.
And
you don't like shingles, or you just have to load, you can't fill it up? Is that where?
Shingles are one of the heaviest products. So that 20-yarder almost filled up was 5.72 tons. And I barely made it, because the dumps off of Rick Williamson, kind of. So I just had to make it around, going about 35 miles an hour to the dump. And you talk about,
Yeah, like, was there a pretty big incline, a grade that you had to drive up? Like,
there was one right when you, because it was off, the job was actually off of, is it 920 right there going towards Springtown?
Okay.
920 or 51.
Okay.
And turn it on to the loop. Trying to get up there. I'm like, come on, transmission. Let's go.
Do you deal with, like, this DOT? Are they a problem for you? Or
No, because I have a...
Are you a problem for them?
Come for me, I dare you.
Yeah.
No. So I have a single wheelbase. It's 10,000 pound capacity, and then my trailer's derated to 16, so I'm right underneath the DOT.
Okay.
So I'm at the point right now where I need to buy a dually, but then I'll start having problems. I'll have to go get my CDL, all that. So
yeah, because if everything's rated. You maxed it out.
Yeah,
You're dealing 5 tons.
That's the you talked about the doing research. That's the stuff I researched, was exactly what I could get away with staying under DOT and still be efficient.
If you make that transition to go to DOT, if you figured you're going to be able to haul bigger dumpsters, so you're able to you think you make more money, or you think it'll just make it safer or easier? What would be? Why would you want to go through the trouble of getting your CDL, dealing with the DOT, and dealing with all that drama?
And you're actually, you sound like my mind when I'm laying in bed at night right now. At first, I bought those 25s, and they're great for the contractors and everything, because I thought I wanted to get up into the 30s and 40s, and because I thought I was losing jobs, not being able to offer that type of stuff. But then I realized I'm trying to compete against Republic and Waste Management. That's not going to happen. So And another thing is when we start hiring drivers, what's easier to hire, a CDL driver or a guy that has hauled cattle trailers his whole life?
Right.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I'm kind of transitioning back to, all right, let's
Just find
stay
your
at the
niche.
20s and down, and go from there and start, use that niche right there instead of trying to compete against.
And people, or anybody that's listening that got confused, we're talking about the size trailers. So there's 10-yard trailers, 15, 20-yard, 25-yard trailers. And these, I guess you said a 25-yarder, you got maxed out at 10,000
we
pounds?
have 3 25-yard dumpsters that we have all on contractors right now. So
Okay.
we'll probably keep those, but for the most part, stay at 20s. That's where we found most people when they call and say, hey, we're doing a renovation. It's 20-yarders. So try to focus on that market and get better at that and compete in that little realm instead of trying to compete against these massive semis and, massive companies.
No, it does make it nice though, because you're able to sometimes we get into jobs like those, like you said, Republic or Waste Management. They can't get in, because it's the tight quarters and things. So it's nice whenever you got guys like y'all, because you can manipulate your trailer into places that you can't. Like we're up at PK, we're fixing to do a big job, and it's like, and it's going to be tearing the roof off, and I'm like looking at that, going like, there's no way we're gonna. And so then they got, I don't know who they got, but it wasn't Republic. But they were like, yeah, we can manipulate it in there. And if it was one of those bigger companies, it would have not been able to get it in.
Right.
So that's what I like about it. It makes it nice. So
Yeah, I talked to him about manipulating the trailer and stuff because, was it Granbury 1 or 2?
Granbury 2.
2.
Yeah.
That thing's on a slope, and it's pretty much 90 degrees for me to get the trailer in there with enough room, because the road in front of it's super slim too. So it's just enough for me to.
Yeah, we got maybe 30 feet of road, and then it's a 12-degree incline, and then you have to back it down, and then it flattens out at the bottom, and it's in a mud pit because the rain and the whole community floods that.
So it's happened twice. Once when Andreas was there, I won't get it perfectly backed up into the rails. I'll be like, that's close enough, and I can just pull out of it. But since I'm on a slope and there's no room across the street, you'll get kind of messed up, and
you have to turn too fast. Yeah.
So that thing get stuck on the rails, and thank God my builder was cool enough to let me use his truck to ratchet it
up. Yeah, it was awesome. No, those are things like I would have never considered. Our lot is 50 feet wide by 170 feet, but the incline, the road, there's no space on the road for the trash can. I would have not been conscious of, this is an issue.
Right.
Lumber drops, trash cans, keeping the job site orderly. Those are variables you have to deal with every day.
Yes.
Well, it's like, have you done jobs in pecan and pecan plantations and what's the other one next to it?
De Cordova.
De Cordova. Have you put?
I'm actually about to do one in pecan plantation this week.
Oh, okay. Well, those that would be nice.
Neighbors.
The residents in there can be quite persnickety about, hey, if you're not allowed to get on their grass, which is fine, because you'll be building on the last house on the street. The lot's like a super tight lot, and then they don't want you on their grass, which is fine if they've got it nice and manicured. So then you pack all the dumpsters in there. The dumpster guy's trying to get in there. You get all your lumber, and then so there's nothing left. So your guys are on this ditch, and their tires are on the road.
Yeah.
They're calling their cops. And they're going, hey, these guys. So you're having to constantly try to get your guys to inch back down into the bar ditch, which is on this. And but you're going man, there's no, give us some grace here. There's nothing there. You got, you've got it. Because if we didn't have a dumpster there, it's going to be trashed out. Trash will be blowing in your grass, and you'll be mad. So it's give us some grace, but boy, they don't. It's you get some interesting people.
Well, see, and that's what if you get a bigger company and they don't, they could care less if they drop a dumpster to you or not.
Mm-hmm.
If it's any type of incline at all,
They're like, no, I don't do it.
we're not dumping it. So, I mean, because even if, we're talking about back and forth incline on Granbury, but we tried to, stick it up at the road. But even at the road, the dumpster's like this.
Yeah, you don't have 4.5. You have like side to side.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
Tilted.
It's
you
almost
gotta
worse.
I could probably drop it off for you. And I've had to learn this the hard way is, I could drop it off, but when I come pick it up and it's full of weight,
And then you're sitting there trying to load.
I'm trying to load, that dumpster's going to fall off this way the whole time trying to get up underneath it. And
That'd be a bad day.
Yeah.
The dumpster just flipped it
Oh,
over.
man.
It'd be a real bad day. Have you ever had a moment where you're like close calls? Or have you been fortunate?
No, not really close calls. I mean, most is what I was talking about is where it's off the rails and, you got the feet of the front coming down. You got the rails like this and the dumpster's like this and the foot's over here. This foot's about to hit your, why am I going blank right now? Your fender.
Uh-huh.
And you got to figure out how to adjust this back over to get this thing line back
in the
up
line.
without damaging anything.
Uh-huh.
So,
Do you get? That's something I was going to ask. Have you ever? Because you bought all your stuff brand new, so you saw it crystal clean.
yes.
Do you walk out here just like get pissed how we treat your dumpsters? Yeah. Are you like you're already like, hey, it's
Are
gonna get
you the
trashed.
one that drew
No, that was
on the
me.
dumpster?
That was me.
No, I mean, we hadn't had a problem with,
Uh-huh.
oh, wait a minute. I was about to say we haven't had a problem with people damaging our dumpsters. I mean, our 20s are really colorful. Like they're kind of like our hats. Y'all haven't had any. We just got those when we dropped them off, so they don't have our decals on it yet, but ours are decked out. Like you'll see them from a mile away. So we've had to replace a couple of that from scratches and stuff like that. But the only other thing we've had is we had a job in Denton, and it was going to be a great contractor to work for. All they do is put in plumbing for all the new subdivisions. Huge guy. So it's one of those things, they would have had me constantly.
Yeah.
And every time I pick it up, that thing don't weigh 1 ton or less, so. But one day I showed up, I told them, don't move the dumpster. Don't move it. And, I show up, it's moved. I'm like, oh, man. Well, whatever. I back up to it, go to start pulling it on the dumpster, and all of a sudden it's getting stuck. I'm like, man, what's going on? I start looking at it. Apparently, they'd already had it loaded, took a track hoe on the front of the dumpster, a track hoe on the back of the dumpster, and moved it. So when it moved,
Oh, it bent.
it bowed. It looked like a rainbow. So, of course, they paid for it, never used us again, but, like, what else do you do?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've stabbed many a dumpsters with the forklift
Yeah.
on accident because you're trying to like they'll be wherever they dump them. You'll be like mainly on all the big commercial sites where we frame them, and everything they're dumped. Well, then either somebody needs it moved or somebody needs it tweaked. Like, hey, the plumber's like, hey, I need this out of the way. I got to dig a ditch here.
Right.
No problem. I'll just go move. I'll kind of pick it up and move it over, and it slips off and stabs it.
Yeah, right.
And I have poor. It's usually waste management or it's one of the big outfits that these companies are bringing. But yeah, many.
Well, and the
we have
problem with that
trash.
company is they were not used to the style of dumpster I had. Our 20s are like on the ground. Like you can't get up underneath them. They're used to taking the forks, going up in the middle, picking it up,
And moving it.
which I don't really have a problem with. And but I guess they saw mine, they couldn't do that. And they never said that's what happened, but that's exactly how that had to have happened, was 2 track hose on each side. But our 25s that y'all have, you could do that easily
Yeah.
in the middle.
That's what we've done that quite a bit, but I don't know how many times. It's probably been at least over 20 years. I probably stabbed like 4 or 5 of them. Yeah, it's like
Which isn't too bad if
you're just trying to and it's like you're trying to manipulate. It slips off, trying to push them, and it's like, and I'm sure they're, of course, that usually come out destroyed. If it's coming from waste management,
Oh yeah, for sure.
they're usually bayonets. So normally you can
They're 20 years old.
nobody says anything. You're like, well, you can just be like, put a little rust on there, and people think it was already there. So
Yeah.
So you mentioned, you were thinking you're going to ramp up and get bigger, and then now you're like, no, this is actually a great market. Do you like renting to builders like to us? So you have the 20-yarder monthly fee, or do you prefer weekly disposals for retail or just small remodels? Or
At the moment, I mean, we're so small, it's better for us if we're renting them out 1 to 3 days.
Turnover.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But we're not going to pass up on the opportunity of a lifelong relationship. Like we're trying to build with you guys and a couple other guys we got in Mineral Wells, because that's going to last forever. We're just growing dumpsters as fast as we can to be able to do both.
how many dumpsters you got now?
We're up to 8. So we started with 3 in May, and we're up to 8
Up to
now.
8. How many did you see the mark? Like you're sitting there going, like, I really need 20 or I need 30, or you don't know where that ceiling's at?
On yards or
No, okay. So
how many?
Oh, how many?
Dumpsters, yeah.
Like you sitting there going, like, hey, if I had 20, it'd be able to fill it, or 30, or you don't know. You just know that, man, I need more.
Well, it's kind of finicky because 1 month it's like, and I heard this. So all of our competitors around Weatherford, we're super kind of close with. We throw each other work. If somebody doesn't have a dumpster, or we'll pick one up for somebody. And learning from people that's been in the game, a couple years or more, they all say it's the same for everybody. It's some days you're thinking you need to sell dumpsters, and other days you need to go buy 10 more.
Oh, okay.
Like the week before last, luckily all of ours are out on contractors, but we didn't have any calls whatsoever. So we're sitting there going, oh. But then last week, we had to turn away, just on Monday and Tuesday, we had to turn away 5 customers because we didn't have any. But also, I can't go out and buy 5 dumpsters.
Sure.
And then next week,
Not use them.
exactly.
Yeah. So the contract, like, if hey, every month you're getting X amount from so it's nice to have that steady, but some days you can't. It's harder to make that.
And I kind of, I'm going back and forth on that because I love that because, like I said, we have that quadplex in Mineral Wells. So when I have the dumpsters out on monthlies, it's kind of like I have another rental unit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we just have to come switch it out once or twice a month.
How much profit is there in, so we pay, I think right around $900 a month for the trash can. But for you to drive and the diesel and then to pay the dump fee, what profit is there actually for you? Are you,
And that's what we're saying. We're having
$600
no. We're having to. That's what we're talking about, refining our down to 20 miles within our shop, because I was driving, like I said, forever to get them, and you're using so much diesel, and not to mention the tires that are getting tore up, all that. Like I said,
Yeah, in the beginning, I'm sure it's hard to tell. Like, I always found it's like you think, oh man, we're doing good, and then all of a sudden you're like, crap, I gotta buy a suit of tires, and it's like you start getting hit, and you're like,
yeah, right now, the truck sitting out there right now, the turbo sounds like a beer can. Like, you remember when you used to put the Coke can in the back of your bicycle? That's what it sounds like right now. So that's getting fixed this week. That's
or the card. You can put
exactly. I've kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it's nostalgic. So on a typical basis, we're renting out for $435 our normal rentals a week, and we'll pocket, if you don't include maintenance, about $225.
But I mean, maintenance goes fast. I mean, like when you say maintenance, you mean like your overhead and things like that.
Yeah, tires, turbo, transmission.
So
it goes fast.
Let's say you're making $150 a week, if you cut another $100 for infrastructure and internal business. That's
So you got to be turning them dumpsters. You
Yeah.
need to be moving.
Like
quick.
June was our best month. We turned 3 dumpsters. We had 30 orders with 3 dumpsters. If I could do that every month, would be ideal.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
yeah, and that's the idea. We bought those 25s were for the home builders, so we could have the monthly and then have the 20s as the
For the hey, weekend warrior, haven't cleaned my garage out, or like you said, like hey, we got because have you made friends with other apartment complexes that they need dumpsters for clean out, or they don't need them?
Not yet. I haven't. I've been, dude. I hit up a lot of realtor offices and stuff like that. Let's see.
It's just tough. There's so many different markets, and they're all unique.
Yes, the main thing we've gotten business from is just our network on Facebook. Like I want to keep our business west side of Fort Worth, Weatherford, for the mileage aspect. But since we're from Perrin and we know everybody in Mineral Wells, that's where we're staying. Like right now, we have a dumpster, 2 dumpsters on Main Street in Mineral Wells. One at a laundromat that was a fire they've been there forever. So we've had a billboard in Mineral Wells for.
Maybe you can buy that laundromat when they're finished.
That's right. Maybe they didn't take my offer and something happens.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
But then we have another job at the bank off of Main Street. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
So what's your overall, so you got some rentals, you got the trailer, or you got the dumpster business. Is there hey, you're looking at 5 years. What are you trying, you want to be like, are these 2 tandem things you want to grow, or is it you're going all in on dumpsters? What's y'all's play?
In the normal, perfect world, we would have came home and bought another quadplex, but we all know the market right now is a little difficult.
It's inflated.
Yeah, that's right. So my dream is to build a rental portfolio.
Okay.
And then the dumpster business, I want to turn into like a rental, like you see like a Mike's Rental or something like that that's renting skid steers and track hose and all that. So I want to eventually build it to that.
Like it's where, or you don't know yet. Like you want to hey, I want to do it in Mineral Wells or Weatherford or
Weatherford area. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
And you do rentals and dumpsters, or like hey, eventually you want it to be like rental property and rentals.
Rental property and rentals. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that'd be fun. I mean, I've got some rentals, and it's so do you manage them yourself?
The apartments.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
You had like what we getting like crazy like dope heads up in there that you had to like burn them down.
No, we've had the best tenants ever. I inherited all 4. And most of them stayed this whole time. Okay. We're just now starting to get new tenants coming in. We had a tenant that went and bought a house, and then I think what the other tenant went and did. But no, we've never had anything bad.
Okay.
So,
no, that's good.
That's awesome. We're waiting for the day. So this is our Airbnb, and it's like sometimes people come through and we see them, and we're like, you just judge them, or sometimes you think, oh, they're going to be great, and they're like filthy. So.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like you think, oh, that's just like mom visiting her kid. No, this place got junked out. Like, what happened? Like, what were you doing? So, yeah.
You just turn that nanny cam on you got in here, and you.
No cameras. There are no cameras in here.
Yeah, they get you in trouble.
Yeah. Listen, YouTube, there are no cameras in here. So what is the next, let's say, year, 2 years look like? You guys have blown up faster than you thought, faster than you expected. How soon before you have to hire a new driver?
I mean, right now we're going through growing pains. I mean, like I said, we could step up to 10 right now, but we're kind of bottlenecked with, cash flow, everything like that. So truck going down. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to my goal was to be at 30 in 2 years because I heard one of the other companies, that's how fast they grew.
Okay.
And
so you were going to beat him.
Me being a little cocky, I'm like, if he can do it,
Yeah.
I'm going to get 40. I mean, so, but now it's kind of like cool your pants, learn all the in and outs that you thought you were just going to come in here and take over. Learn the maintenance side of it. Learn what you need, a backup trailer. You need a backup truck. You need, it's things like that. It's like build the foundation before you're just trying to work towards a number.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, once you said it, never even thought about a backup trailer, backup truck.
Mm-hmm.
It's expensive because it's like, hey, if we need it pulled, we're like, hey, we need it pulled now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like, oh, like my truck's broke down. That'll like get somebody like really frustrated.
Yeah.
So I never even thought about
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to tell a customer is, hey, truck went down.
You'll be like,
we're never using him again.
I'm broke down.
Yeah.
It's not like, you don't want that. So
That's cool. You got anything else? Any closing thoughts you want to leave our, two viewers? Like, I think both of Kevin's and I's moms watch this. I don't know anybody else that watches this podcast, but any thoughts that retail or customers or even builders don't consider about the dumpster haul-off business? Like, any surprises when you think
I would just say, kind of what I touched on earlier was find a company that you get along with and you call them and they answer, they call right back and they want to work with you. Because if they're going to have, kind of an attitude on the phone, it's not going to be a joy to work with them.
no, yes.
So even if it's, a cheaper company and you feel that, I mean, you're going to pay a lot more in stress than.
You want to make the friction of the transaction easy.
Yeah.
That's what people pay for that.
Right.
If it's not Andreas, I don't want to hear. We don't want to have to be like, we can't get it done. It just costs trouble. No, you want to be like, hey, you're on it to help us make a project run smoothly in your lane, and it's like, but.
And that's kind of what we're going after is the customer service, the same day service. When Andreas calls me, I'm kind of like, oh man, I can't get there till tomorrow. That's insane for a dumpster company. That most of the time would be like, okay, it's Monday, we can be there Friday.
Oh yeah,
I'm mad if I can't. Drop it right now and go get it.
Waste management at my personal house when we were building, it took them anywhere from 7 to 14 days to make a dump.
Mm-hmm.
That was insane, and so it's like whenever he's telling me, we called it in, they'll be here in the morning. I'm like, dang, that's nice.
Yeah,
especially like as you get into remodels and you're doing demo, you need that flex, or as a contract, you need that flexibility because it's like, hey, you dropped them now. Hey, I need you to be back in the morning with 2 fresh ones.
Right.
You need that flexibility, but that you can't get out of waste. The
big guys, for
so
sure. Yeah, that's our bread and butter is if we can find a demolition like that. It's just
we just you can turn them quick. Yes. Cool.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's been a pleasure working with you for sure over the last. When did we start? I think you dropped your trailers in August for us.
Yes.
And it's been good. Like communication. Hey, are you guys looking full? Looking not full?
So how so you only so your office is in Weatherford? Mm-hmm. What's your radius?
20 miles.
20-mile radius out of Weatherford is, and then after that you start charging.
We do $5 a mile after that one way.
Okay.
So if it's 40 miles, 20 times 5 would be $100.
Okay.
So
that's good. Yeah, that's good to know. Like, hey, where Weatherford make it.
Yeah, with like the Gordon job, he's like, oh, it's gonna be more. I'm like, well, how much more? And he told me, I was like, yes, let's do it.
Well, no, that helps us because it's like, hey, if we're bidding a job, now we know, hey, we know your rate or your base rates.
Right.
It's like, hey, we know, hey, how many miles, and then we know, hey, so it's nice. We're not going to get a surprise.
Right.
So it's like when you're when you're billing, when you're dumping, is there So I don't know what the rates are, but just for example, it says $500 or $1,000 for the dump. And that's what you're charging us. Is there extra fees if we're heavy?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually we do.
How does that look?
Up to 2 tons. Anything over 2 tons, we go $60 a ton after that.
Oh, okay.
So.
And then like and then if it's outside the radius, it's miles. Okay, that's good. It helps.
And it's not a perfect circle around that 20, because if it's Fort Worth and it's going to be, here's the house and the dump's 5 miles away.
Yeah.
I can still charge, my normal rate.
Yeah. But for like us, most of the time we're going to be on that. We're going to be on the west side. So we're going to be having to calculate that. But that makes it nice for us to be able to, when we're bidding, we're not calling you up going, we already kind of know where you're landing.
Yeah. So sometimes if you come here, and then you can jump at Stephenville, which is right next door, and then
straight down 20.
It's each those dumps. So at each dump, are they cost different prices?
Oh yes. Oh man, I don't even want to get on a soapbox about Weatherford. Oh my gosh, man.
So do you have to take that into consideration, or that's just all kind of baked into your price? Like, hey, wherever we're going to end up.
Yeah, I'm going to lose here, but I'm going to gain there.
It's definitely every day on my radar. It's like, okay, if I have 4 dumpsters to dump, okay, I got to bite the bullet and go dump at Weatherford. But if I got 1 dumpster, I'm going all the way to Kennedale.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So,
so you just kind of play like you said, your workload for that day.
Yeah, for that day.
Yeah, and the landfills charge different amounts based on the volume that they have, or just the land that they don't have.
Well, a lot of these things are transfer stations. So all they're doing is they let us pile it up into a pile. They take a track hoe, throw it into a big truck, and they're taking it to Kennedale. Oh. So they're charging us just.
You're paying for that transportation, what you're doing.
Right.
That makes sense.
So we're buying time, really.
Yeah.
Dang.
But that's what you would have to like. So if you hired a guy, you have to teach him those way of like, hey, watch your schedule.
Yes.
He's like, I don't need to be paying. We don't need to be paying dump fees that we don't have to be paying for.
Right, and something I just learned a week ago is, and this is what's great about talking to bigger companies and people who have been in it. The guy we're doing the job for in the laundromat, I didn't realize for the first month, they have a renovation business, but they also have a dumpster business in Dallas that does 10,000 to 15,000 tons a month.
That's a bunch.
So,
like just construction dumps?
yes.
10,000 tons.
Yes. So,
Is that
I went to lunch with him.
Pounds?
Huh?
Is that 2 million pounds? 200,000 pounds.
Well, it's 10,000 times 2,000, so.
Yeah, six zeros.
Yeah. You're the math man.
That's 7 zeros. Gee, all right, go ahead.
Either way.
So I went to lunch with him, and he was letting me in on, man, if I have concrete, I can go dump it for free at this place. If I have sod, blah, blah, blah. Stuff I didn't even know.
So it's like, if you know all you're doing is concrete, but it has to be, they can't be mixing it in.
Well, they do, but.
Well, I mean, like with that guy, if you had a guy that, hey, you can dump concrete here, you can't be putting lumber and concrete with it.
Right.
You got to know, hey, we're just doing concrete.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've thought about is selling one of those 25s, because that's something nobody's really offering. Y'all might be able to tell me better. Is the concrete washout and kind of the dirt work for landscaping.
Oh, yeah.
Get one of those short little concrete dumpsters.
I haven't, like a lot of our jobs, washout's not a big deal, but I have been seeing more and more of those washout dumpsters in subdivisions, mainly in subdivisions.
I think it's because it's one of those.
Is it becoming
I believe so, because when we're in Pennsylvania, it's funny, going back to the oil field, you go up to Pennsylvania, they're throwing out riprap and just everything. Like everything has to be to a T on environmental stuff. You have to have an environmental safety guy if we're crossing a creek, and the creek can't be open for more than a day or a night. Coming from West Texas, you're like, what? Well, these guys are changing the oil on the ground, that type of thing. But I think Texas is coming around to actually getting into code with environmental stuff. So I'm really believing, the concrete washout stuff's not going to be on the ground anymore.
Yeah, and I think I do. I'm seeing more and more and more of that of those dumpsters. But so like at those back to the landfills. Since you dump so much, do you get discounts or they don't care? They're like, somebody's going to, like.
Well, like Weatherford one, I'll go ahead and shout them out. When I first pulled in there, they wanted, it was $100 a ton, 3-ton minimum. I'm like, I wouldn't make any money. And then eventually talking to a couple guys around town, they're like, hey, you can go get a contract with them, and they'll lower it down, and so I think we're sitting at 66 a ton, but they also add in a fuel surcharge and other stuff. So, I mean, it's I go to Kennedale, it's a 2-ton minimum, but it's $51 a ton.
Yeah.
So it's always cheaper to go there for the most part.
And then you give the gas station 100.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still cheaper. Yeah. I mean, especially if you got to beat up there in that area anyway, it's definitely the way to go.
That's what I'm saying. We try our hardest to stay around the West Fort Worth area, stuff like that. But with our network, we're in Mineral Wells for the most part, which we love because we're in our community and helping our community out and seeing our business along with all the other businesses is really cool feeling.
So like, okay, it's like on your, like when you've got your, do you have one of those, I have bought one, but I've never had to use it, knock on wood. But do you have one of those, what are they called? The metal thing that you back your trailer on to change your tire fast?
Oh yeah, it's just like a wheel. It's just a ramp. And
is that how you change your tire, or do you got like ramps?
No, but I would love to hear about this neat little invention.
It's in the back of my truck.
Okay,
yeah, it's like
look out the window. Yeah.
But it's like I didn't know. I was just
it looks like a trapezoid. It's like you ramp it up, and then the tire sits.
You gotta have it. You gotta have 2 axles. But I mean, if you got one, you just roll it up there, and this one pops it up, and or vice versa. But I was just curious. I've never had to use it online or the videos. It seems like a really sweet deal, but I haven't ever used it. But thank you.
Normally, I'll just pull up on a couple 2x12s, that first axle, and it kind of bring the other one up, and then I'll take my jack it up a little bit.
And then,
yeah.
That's basically what this is. I mean, it's like it's metal. But how often, like, back to the, like DOT and everything, it's like, will they pull you over and make sure you're not transporting hazardous material?
I haven't had since I've been in business. I hadn't got pulled over. And I've
like
heard
when you're dumping at those transfer stations, are they making sure, or is it like, man, we're rocking? Like, because like in Stephenville, you're not supposed to have trash. Like, was it make your
if it makes a house fly,
and so. Or your paint has to be dried paint and all the other things. So sometimes if you've got an extra pan, you just throw it in the middle. But it's
we would never do that. I gotta check my dumpsters next time I come by.
No, never. But it's like, so are they checking those things or making sure how? Or
I guess it's one of those things. It's like, how good is the employee that's on site that
station.
day?
Yeah.
That Kennedale site, there's so many dumpsters. I mean, there's 10 guys all lined up, and they're not really checking. They're just making sure they're lining trucks up, stuff like that.
When you first started dumping, were you like nervous?
Oh my God!
You're sitting there going like, and you got the guys in the backhoe honking at you, screaming at you because you're not, and you thought you were doing where they were supposed to have gone, and like you like freaked out.
Oh man! At first, I was kind of like, oh, I hope what if I. What if I can't back this thing up, even though I could back a dang trailer? Well, if for some reason today, I'm just sitting here doing this. Yeah. But it was something I had to get over. I mean, there's every once in a while, there's some employees there that tell you some weird stuff, even though you've probably been there.
You've been
doing it
longer
than they've been working, and I know how to help this guy next to me, stay out of his way and where he can pull forward and stuff like that. And it's dealing with that, but
So how many like the Kennedale one? You said there's 30 guys. Is there 30 dumpsters being dumped at once? Like, I mean, you're just lining up and just.
It depends. Some days, trying to think of the most. I'd say 10 truck and trailers, and then they have it sectioned off for truck and trailers, and they have it sectioned off for Republic and all them that have the big trucks and all that.
Okay,
so
okay.
We're not getting in their way. So it takes us a little bit longer
to do it.
But-
Like on your what's your net?
Mhm.
How often do you have to replace that thing? Because on my
Like
dump
it's
trailer,
cut.
it's like, man, I've already like the stupid things already. It comes off all the time. And
How long have I been in business? Since
6
May.
months.
So right now I'm about to have to start.
fixing some of the.
But the main reason I have to replace it is being too lenient on letting stuff be on. You're supposed to fill the dumpster up level with the top of the dumpster.
Oh yeah, yes.
And if there's something sticking up, I'm like,
This is a go.
yeah, let's go. Why even say anything? So I've kind of hurt myself on that because I'll roll that thing back. It's automatic and just let it kind of.
But how much does that net cost? Like
It's only
$300?
$300.
Yeah, so
So it's
basically it gives your customers a better experience.
because
And
I'm
you're-
not sitting here
yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey,
you're putting
because like I've definitely had people that call us and say, our guys out there, we're not pulling your dumpster, and oh, by the way, you're going to get a trip charge. Just very, and then I'm just enraged, and I'm just like, hey, can't your guy just shovel off? It'll take him 30 seconds. My guys are not on site. Can he show? Nope. Bye. And then that's when you're just like, oh Lord.
But there's a couple times on our end of it, it's like you have to think we have to travel down the highway at 65, 70 with that thing.
No, yeah.
What's that DOT guy is going to come by and be like, what are you doing?
No. I do realize that, but it's like you could have so I drive out there and I'm like, man, it was
it was something you could have.
Either pushed it down or there was like 10 sheets of scrap plywood.
Yes.
And you could have just, even though you couldn't take it because, like you said, it blown off. You could have just thrown it out beside.
It takes me 5 seconds to jump up there and kick stuff down.
Rimmage it down,
Yeah.
or like, hey, I can't take it. At least throw it off. And then we can pick it up next trip or whatever.
Right.
And it's like instead of making it a big deal, you just do it.
Right.
And it's like that's
kind of back to the customer service thing. It's like there's people that are set out to be difficult and they have to like peacock and stuff like that.
Yes.
Dude, offer a service and grow.
And it's the customer.
Yes.
You just get back to it is the customer. And today I'm on a job. Customer's upset. 95% of it was not. We shouldn't have been touching this stuff. But it was like, hey, you could either spend a little money, you ran in there, make him feel heard, took care of those items, and you went down the line, and then instead, or we could have got in there, and like you said, I could have got it. We can get in there and have a big old ego match, and you're just we can sit and I could win the battle,
right?
Per se, I could argue all these points, and that guy's just going to walk away going like, this guy. Instead of saying, hey, no problem, we'll do it. By the end of it, he's like, man, I feel kind of bad now.
Right.
Like this is like not like I was like, boom, we won.
Yeah.
But, hey, I was like, no factor.
But
I said, hey,
with
don't
that,
worry. I said, don't you stress one bit
That's
about it.
customer service.
I said those were concerns for you. Don't worry about it. We'll handle
with
it.
that being said, now he feels a little guilty. Now he's going to say, hey, man, if you need a framer, this guy went above and beyond.
And he goes, yes. And so that's the way you look. But it cost me some money. But it's just like your nets. Hey, it kind of cut. But it's like, hey, when somebody needs a dumpster, I'm like, dude, this guy's a no nonsense guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be pulling them dumpsters.
Or when we need a dumpster,
Well,
and
that
it's
too.
like, and we're out of mileage. We're like, well, let's pay the extra money. It's a done
100%.
deal,
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's less drama. I'm 100% of like no drama. Like, I don't really care to hear. I just want it done.
Right. You have, I heard on the podcast, your phone stays ringing. And that's what I keep in my head when I'm calling, especially builders and stuff like that. I'm a dumpster guy. Last thing he wants to hear is there's something wrong with the dumpster. You know what I mean? So it's
in
like,
your mind, you're there thinking it's dumpsters.
yeah.
Well, how can it, and how could it be? It's, you just, hey, make it an easy transaction. Like, just let me get this stuff off your property, and that's what it's about. And I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it. So.
Well, Aaron, it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you for joining our show.
Thanks for having me,
man.
Yes.
We wish
I'll be back on episode 100.
We're gonna have a wreckage episode where we just talk about all like the disaster stories that we have. Maybe we'll get you an
We'll have
invite.
to get in here.
Yeah, just trash flying down the highway and.
Yeah,
oh man, I would love to tell you that story right now.
Into that, did we? Should have got it. Yeah. Next time we're on here, we'll have to talk about the. So I know you've probably had stuff flying off your trailer before.
Dude, I had a guy wanting to fight me the other day. Oh, man, and I didn't even notice, but it was a contractor, and he like, please, if you're a contractor, you're going to overload it. Put the heavy stuff on top. Mm-hmm. They overloaded it. It's all sticking up. I'm thinking my net's got it. I'm confident. I'm just driving down the road. I'm getting onto the highway. And I see this truck coming up beside me, just flying. I'm like, I guess he hated going slow on that road. He pulled up to me. He's like, cussed me out. There's stuff flying everywhere. You better go back there and pick everything up. And, I have my massive logo on the side of the truck. You got to keep your ego in check. Oh my gosh, somebody yelling at you like that, you're just like, oh man.
No, and
I would love to de-stress right now, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
And but I'm like, oh, thank you, sir. I had no idea. I will definitely circle back and take care of that.
Sure
thank you for being so nice. Being a little smart ass, but whatever.
Yeah. No, but it is like just like the podcast here. It's like the all your decals and stuff. It kind of holds you accountable.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's like this podcast, we're sitting here talking big talk, and one of these days somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, you said that
on episode 8.
I know.
No, not that, but but the full theme of things. It's like, hey, like, oh, we got to make sure and back it up.
Yeah.
So I think this stuff's good. I think it's on one hand, in the moment you hate it, but the accountability will pay dividends.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's gonna pay. So anyway,
for sure.
We're good. It's great having you. And
yes.
Again, until next time.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.